Hello, my name is David Slinker, and I'll be your host as we explore the learning and assessment process for student labor at Berea College and how it has become a central element in educating our student workforce. Learning is a central focus of student work at Berea College. Since its inception in 1859 and formalized into every student's educational experience in 1906, the labor program has undergone revisions and reviews that have served to strengthen our focus on learning and has laid foundations for continued progress into the future. Berea College is one of 7 federally recognized work colleges in the United States and is a member of the Work College Consortium, which was established in 1996. The legislation governing a federally recognized work college articulates a specific set of guidelines that include requirements for all students to participate in the work programs of the participating institutions. In addition, programs are directed to reflect a general education model that promotes and measures learning in the workplace. Over the years, deliberate steps have been taken at Berea College to align the labor program with a general education model. A labor review team was established in 2000, resulting in the formulation of specific labor learning goals. In addition, an articulated set of workplace descriptors called workplace expectations were established and integrated into our work areas to help guide students, faculty, and staff in a better understanding of what a good workplace should look like. As a result of deliberate, systematic steps taken by the program, in 2011 we placed our labor program under the Educational Programs section for the SACS Compliance Report for reaffirmation of accreditation. Since all students work at Berea College, our graduates leave Berea with a work history that may include a wide variety of and range of experiences. Students have opportunities to make work and academic connections by working in areas related to their majors. They also have opportunities to progress into higher-level jobs and assume management and supervisory roles. Students learn how to function in teams, show initiative, communicate effectively, and to become problem solvers. Because students are responsible for securing their own jobs, they may be asked to provide a resume and references as well as learn to effectively search and interview for positions on campus. You may be saying right now, but we're not a work college, and while that may be true, we feel that institutions that have federal work study students can move to create a better learning environment in work areas that are not only beneficial to the student, but to the institution as well. Institutions can move to make work more meaningful to students and hold them to a higher standard of accomplishment. Tools can be developed that effectively measure and promote learning in a workplace, a place where supervisors are recognized as practical educators. It will take drive and determination as well as an institutional commitment. The work is hard, but we found that at Berea College, the results have been well worth the effort. The process used in moving our work program to follow an educational model was a long process spanning several years. It began with an understanding that if we were required to complete evaluations on each student, and if our program was to mirror a traditional education model, the evaluation process should have significance and meaning to both students and staff. In other words, the process itself would become a form of education enhancement. Some of the considerations we were charged to consider included ease of use. It should also be something that is learning-centered with a focus on student development. We recognize that each job on campus would have a well-written job description that would include learning goals for the position. Realizing that we are federally mandated to conduct evaluations, we would strive toward 100% compliance and develop mechanisms to help us achieve that. Labor learning goals and workplace expectations would be incorporated into the evaluation. And the work history developed by each student would be reflected in a transcript that would mirror an academic transcript. Students should be able to use his or her accomplishments and transcript results as a tool for securing campus jobs and in vocational career searches. And lastly, we would strive to elevate our work supervisors to practical instructors in the program. We began developing the evaluation process that is currently used at Berea College during the spring term of 2006. Supervisors that were surveyed wanted a tool that was web-based, user-friendly, and one that focused on essential elements of work. In contrast, students we surveyed were more focused on the process and indicated that in the current application, they were learning too little about their performance and oftentimes much too late. Our process, like many other schools we surveyed, involved a year-end paper form that was often completed after students left campus, if at all. Those few students who were fortunate enough to see results before leaving campus for the summer indicated they had no time to correct any performance issues that were pointed out in the evaluation. For some, this was the first time that they had been made aware that there was any type of performance concern. With many students taking a different position in the fall, we discovered a huge disconnect with what they were being told in their evaluation and their ability to initiate any type of performance improvement plan in that job. Because we wanted the evaluation process to be developmental in nature, we asked students what would be the minimum we should expect supervisors to provide in an evaluation process, and then build upon that. Students suggested a mid-year or mid-term review followed by a final evaluation at the conclusion of the job. That would assure time for any corrections that needed to take place by the student and would provide an avenue for students and supervisors to engage in an ongoing reflective conversation that would help students better learn the dynamics of good work. One of our first tasks was to define key elements of student work that needed to be examined. Our task was compounded by the need to address recent labor review recommendations and also include principles set forth in the workplace expectations, an adopted set of guidelines that embodies what a good job and what a good workplace should look like. Our work settled on a set of key evaluation points that included attendance, accountability, teamwork, initiative, respect, learning, and a job-specific section. The job-specific section was included to measure how well students are meeting job requirements that were set forth in the required job descriptions. By doing this, we were able to have a common rating system for all work areas across campus, while also addressing performance of a specific job in a work area. Because we didn't want to create a lengthy list of survey questions, we chose to frame each evaluation point with descriptors that help guide the supervisor's conversation with students. For example, when dealing with teamwork, we supply 2 descriptors to guide the supervisor's thinking in this area. As you look at each descriptor in the example, you see references to the workplace expectations and the labor learning goals for Berea College. Our training documents highlighted expectations and goals associated with each descriptor through color coding. By doing so, we effectively framed a conversation on campus about work and learning with our faculty and staff supervisors. When scoring, supervisors would simply score in the main area of teamwork and not on each descriptor. They were asked to provide supporting comments that helped explain the reasoning for the score, as well as offering suggestions for improvements. The Student Supervisor Conference, which was viewed as an essential part of the evaluation process, would be the place where each element of the descriptor could be discussed at length. Instructions were created that offered a student development plan. The intention was to establish a conversation that began early in a student's job and continued throughout the contract period. Evaluations would conclude with the final evaluation and the student conference in the work assignment. Encouraging a consistent interaction between students and supervisors was viewed as essential in a developmental plan. The email tool is administered through Smart Evals, also known as GAP Technologies, and employs a variety of tools that assists in evaluation, development, and compliance. Some features include a single sign-on capability, timely email notifications to staff and students when evaluations are due, customized instructions and functionalities, report features, student response sections, interactive email functions between supervisor and students, as well as a variety of other capabilities. All of the features provided by Smart Evals were functionalities that supervisors saw as essential in helping us manage the evaluation process on our campus. We felt successful in meeting our earlier considerations. We developed a tool focused on student development that was easy to use. The automation would help us accomplish our federal mandates for evaluation, and we incorporated important Berea College-approved learning goals for labor. Because Smart Evals now housed electronic records for all evaluation, it was a simple process to upload results back into Banner for use in creating the labor transcript. Through the training and conversations that took place, supervisors have begun to see themselves as educators and are realizing the impact that they're having on our students' lives and development. At the end of this video, we'll show you some of the documentation that grew out of the development of this instrument. But for now, let's take a few moments to view the actual instrument as it functions on our campus. The evaluation announcement to campus is generated through Smart Evals and will contain links to log into individual supervisor accounts in the evaluation system. Supervisors will receive periodic email reminders to complete evaluations and will continue to receive them until all evaluations have been conducted and finalized. We control the content of the message as well as the email frequency. Login is simple and uses our network ID and passwords. When evaluations are active, the work supervisor will find individual links on his or her homepage in the system. When an evaluation is submitted, the evaluation link for that student simply disappears. In addition, once an evaluation period closes, all links disappear, which will leave supervisors access to only the reporting features in the system. After selecting the student evaluation link, the opening page presents instructions as well as a visual graphic of the scoring mechanisms in the system. First-time users are encouraged to acquaint themselves with this page. Clicking Next simply takes you to the body of the evaluation. Here you will see 7 key areas in which supervisors are expected to evaluate students: attendance, accountability, teamwork, initiative, respect, learning, and position specific. Again, the first 5 areas are common to all jobs on campus, while learning and position-specific areas relate to the individual student's job and how well the individual job performance has met the requirements that have been articulated in the job description for that position. During an open timeline, supervisors may enter the evaluation as many times as needed and will have full edit capability. During this time, supervisors are encouraged to complete the evaluation and schedule a student conference to discuss the results. After those discussions have occurred, the supervisor returns again in order to make any needed adjustments and to add additional comments before finalizing the evaluation by submitting. You will also note a composite score is found on the last page of the instrument, and it is this score that drives the construction of the labor transcript. System functions that help supervisors manage the evaluation process include print, save for later, and submit functions, as well as a host of reporting features. Supervisors are able to view recently completed evaluations and composite results of the entire area that compare against school-wide evaluation results. In addition, supervisors have access to information that describes their scoring tendencies as well as identifying areas to consider for future personal development. The system is managed by a central on-campus administrator who has a broad range of capability that includes creating and deleting individual student evaluations, changing of work supervisors, email functions, creating additional evaluations, the editing of questions, and management of the upload process. In the event that an administrator needs support, Smart Evals has a proven track record of fast and efficient response to any issues that may surface. Before concluding this segment, we would like to show you some of the documents we created to educate our supervisors and college community. The Student Labor Training Packet records the development of the evaluation tool while providing instructions for its use, and also provides training resources for work departments. The opening pages reveal the heart of the evaluation and maps out the connections between evaluation descriptors, workplace expectations, and the labor learning goals for labor. Notice the color coding beneath each descriptor, identifying how the workplace expectation and the labor learning goals are embedded into the language of each descriptor. The Workplace Expectation page is viewed as a training document within the packet, sharing some background development of the expectations, and concludes by presenting the complete list at the bottom of the manuscript. A training plan was essential in guiding evaluation consistency across campus. There are instructions for the beginning of the labor assignment as well as for the midpoint review, and then again for the final evaluation. Although we transitioned to an electronic form, many of the optional uses of the original form are still being utilized today. For example, many supervisors use the paper form for administering a self-evaluation by student workers before an official evaluation conference takes place. The evaluation form just mentioned is retained in this document and is used for student self-evaluation and occasionally by supervisors who may be evaluating outside an open timeline in the Smart Eval system. Notice how the evaluation areas still reference the workplace expectations found at the bottom of the page. This concludes Session 1, covering the supervisor evaluation of a student's work performance. You'll want to view Session 2 to discover how students are relating back their work experiences in a broad range of areas that also include responses to the recently conducted student labor evaluation. If you have further questions, feel free to write me, David Slinker, at training@berea.edu. Again, thanks for watching.